Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Good evening to you as we get underway for the Oilers and Blackhawks this evening. A big time matchup for the Oilers simply because a failure of a game last time out against the Pittsburgh Penguins, a very bad first 10 minutes, cost the Oilers a hockey game. And now they find themselves in a game tonight where Vegas and LA are both in action on a Saturday night as well. And for the Oilers, that means you got to capitalize and win tonight to keep pace. And the Hawks, who are 14-26-2 on the year, are the right pickings for the Edmonton Oilers here today. So we'll see what that ultimately leads us out to as the Oilers game gets underway here on Hockey Night in Canada in about 23 minutes time. I don't know if there's any pregame stuff going on in Chicago. Nobody has made mention of that quite yet, so we should be good to go here for the Oilers to get going early around the 5 o'clock mark. Of course, Hockey Night in Canada usually delays things by about an extra 5 minutes from normal puck drop, but we'll see. Obviously, we're not the Leafs, we're not the Habs, so we should not have to deal with that special treatment. As we go along tonight again as well, if you're just finding time for the Edmonton Oilers tonight, what you're going to want to know is there's some lineup changes for the Oilers as they've kicked out Josh Brown out of the lineup. They've kicked out Jeff Skinner out of the lineup here tonight, and they will start Cal Pickard. I'm still trying to get that one down for some reason. And go with a lineup of Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Hyman, Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Arvidsson. That's your top six. And then they'll go with Janmark, Henrique Brown, Perry, Ryan, and Kapanen up there on the top 12 forwards. You then go to Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse Stetcher, who Nurse will likely play a lot more time alongside Kulak in this game, and then Emberson and Kulak, your third pairing with Pickard starting in net. That courtesy of Heavy Hockey and the Oilers Fanatic, of course, the graphics they're doing there before every single Oilers game. That might be a follow for you over on Twitter. So we are, like I said, just about 15 minutes away from official game time. That means then we'll have another 8 minutes or so until puck drop. Tonight it's the Leafs, the Canucks, the Habs, the Stars, the Oilers, the Hawks, and I believe Minnesota is playing the Winnipeg Jets, if I read that correctly there, as we've already had the Ottawa Senators in business today. Sorry, it's Colorado against the Winnipeg Jets. I knew it was an all-Central Division matchup, just wasn't 100% sure how that one shook out because I didn't look at the graphic long enough. So, good evening to you. Glad to have you aboard this evening if you are tuning in as we get set up for what should be a fun one. Obviously, this is, I don't even know what number live stream this season this is. It's been kind of an up and down year for the live streams overall on the hockey season, but looking forward to getting back to more productive as we get towards the playoff calendar, right? Obviously, the Oilers looking to get in on the playoffs here right away in a span of about 3 months from now. We'll be talking playoff positioning for the Edmonton Oilers, and you look at this here. This is number 7, lucky number 7 on the year for the Dolynny TV live streams. That in and of itself is a problem, but again, the schedule has been up, down, and all around the place, so I do apologize. But we are waiting for this one to get underway with kind of the Oilers in a good spot, 25-13-3 on the season. They've been just on an absolute tear since November 23rd, which is to be expected. Cal Pickard will start with a 9-4 record, 2.46 goals against average, and .898 save percentage. The Oilers come into the game with a plus .51 goal differential. The Hawks come in with a minus .85. So there's a lot that can be done here for the Oilers in terms of scoring a ton of goals if they want to have a good game. The Hawks averaging 3.4 goals against per game. The Oilers only at 2.78 here over the past little bit. Have really clamped down that number. And the Oilers power play percentage at 24%. See, the Hawks special teams not too bad. Their penalty kills at 83.5 and their power plays at 23.1. But it's just for them overall probably been the 5-on-5 and the overall competition level roster to roster that they haven't been able to quite get going here for this season so far. So when we look at the Edmonton Oilers, it's been a pretty good year for Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid up to 42 assists on the year. Draisaitl with 31 goals. And Draisaitl now sitting at a plus 24. Remember, there was a time when everybody said the Oilers couldn't win because Leon and Connor were zeros and minus ones in the plus minus stat. Well, I mean, Connor McDavid's a plus 12. You've got Leon Draisaitl as a plus 24. Both players have found their wingers or players they can at least play wing with, and things are working out well. So Stuart Skinner at a 2.77 goals against average, 898 save percentage as well. So both teams, or both goaltenders for the Oilers, really dominating out there. And then you have obviously the middle depth chart scoring starting to pick up here as well. Kasperi Kapanen's kind of tailed off since being put down there on the fourth line, but Adam Henrique's popped up over 10 points. Victor Arvidsson's over 12. Corey Perry there with 13. Same with Brett Kulak, 14. Bud Colson, 14. And Jan Mark, 14. So tonight, if you're going to have yourself a night, if you're going to have a 5, 6, 7 goal outburst, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, we're just hoping, we're just waiting for them to obviously show up, show out, and allow the bottom 6 to get a bunch of points tonight, right? Like, I mean, I went through all that, right? A lot of the bottom 6 guys, not too many points. So if Draisaitl's going to have a monster night, you want to see a guy like Vasily Podkolzin cash in 3 or 4 points. Again, Jeff Skinner's going to not move at all tonight, being on the press box. And then you've got Darnell Nurse, who as well, if he can pick up some points tonight, that'd be all right. Matthias Ekholm up with 18. Connor Brown now with 19 on the year. A top 7-point scorer on the team for the Edmonton Oilers. Connor Brown having himself a heck of a season here. And obviously he's going to find himself a situation where he might be able to find some more points reunited with Matthias Janmark and Adam Henrique this evening. So welcome aboard again, friends. If you're just tuning in, glad to have you. If you haven't already left that like on the stream, I know I can ask you that. If you're a stream regular, to do that for me as we get closer and closer to tonight's Oilers game, as we are anticipating puck drop around 5:08, 5:10, somewhere in there. So we'll wait for this game to get underway eventually, as you know, Hockey Night in Canada is kind of doing its thing right now and waiting for us to get to the actual meat and potatoes of why we're here. So yeah, other than that, the Oilers, I mean, the change in this team over the span of, I don't know, the past, I guess, really month and a half has been absolutely unreal, right? Once they hit late November, early December, they just really hit a new gear. And really the only guy that hasn't suited up that's still on the team that or has suited up that hasn't really produced any points yet is Josh Brown. And for him, I mean, are you really expecting Josh Brown to get any points at all for this Oilers team? Not really. So for a team that once upon a time this season couldn't win a game unless they had a fight in the hockey game, this team's suddenly kind of come back down to earth in terms of the physicality. The hits have been really rather not great. I don't want to go pathetic because, again, as soon as I use harsh tones on this team, they prove me otherwise. So, but you get where I'm going. This team definitely will, as the season ramps up here, have to step up the physicality just to stay in the fight against some of the teams that, not necessarily the other teams that are guaranteed playoff spots, but teams that are kind of sitting there on the bubble, right? If you have to face Vancouver, if you have to face Calgary, there will be some hard-hitting games there from those teams as they try to wear you down and just get every single point they can. Entering action tonight, Vancouver holding on to a playoff spot by 1 point over the Calgary Flames. Flames with 45, Canucks with 46, Blues with 44, and Utah with 43. That's really all who's in the mix at this point. I think you can all but safely assume Anaheim's not going to be able to climb the standings fast enough here in the back half of the season to really get into a playoff spot. The Oilers with 53 points in 41 games, so 106-point pace. The only problem is the Vegas Golden Knights are on pace for 118 this year. So kind of a tough situation in that aspect. And for the LA Kings, they have just kept winning hockey games left, right, and center here over the past 5. The Oilers had been rolling. That 5-3 loss to Pittsburgh, kind of a setback. But for the Oilers, obviously the wins in regulation and overtime. How do the Oilers? I don't think that maths out. Do we have 7 wins in the shootout this year? I don't think so. But the Oilers definitely looking forward to getting more regulation wins going here this season. I think that is row is now supposed to be RW, not ROW. So, yeah, we're waiting for this one to get up underway here, friends, in about 14 minutes time this evening. The Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks, as we wait to get this one going, as a record first half gets them third place. Go figure. Well, Patrick, that is a very Oilers stat right there, isn't that? I mean, for the Oilers, anytime they seem to overachieve, it's still not by enough of a margin to make a difference, and that's where, obviously, again, a good first half, record-breaking, as you're saying, wasn't enough to do the job here. And I mean, Vegas has had a absolute monstrous first half, 59 points, again, to be on pace for 118, especially when maybe, the schedule gets easier as you go on as a good team, because you're right in the thick of your skill throughout the season. I don't know what to say fully there to clamp that down, but you understand what I'm saying, right? It's going to be an interesting finish to the year. I don't know if Vegas is necessarily just going to coast into the playoffs. That might bode well for us for sure, but we'll see what the Oilers kind of do as they get into the back half tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. As we're waiting for this one to get underway. I don't know what it is about these NHL games that feel like they take forever. I mean, you end up seeing so much coverage and that just doesn't pertain to you, that maybe you just want to hustle up and get there. But the Oilers and Hawks tonight at 5 p.m. A nice early game. That leaves some time to rest, relax, and enjoy a good Saturday night. I'll take that as well. That's going to be nice to have a Saturday night where we don't have an 8 p.m. game and we can kind of sit back and enjoy ourselves a hockey game where hopefully the Oilers find a way to win. Hopefully the Oilers find a big result. Again, Patrick, I'm sure you'd agree with me there. A big result here from the Edmonton Oilers where he scores 6-7 goals would be much more than a 4-2 victory for the Oilers over the Hawks tonight, as you've got John Tavares. I don't know who they're choosing to feature in these games today, but they're choosing some random ones, or they're choosing just all the other games except for Connor versus Connor. Not really sure how those are the big matchups of the game, but sure, we'll take it as we get closer and closer to game time here, friends, as the Oilers, right, if they can find a way to get a big result against the Blackhawks tonight, that's going to do a lot of good things for this Oilers team going into kind of the start of the next week here. Is, I think, if we go back to the schedule here for the Oilers, let me just go find that right now, as I should know the schedule, but things have been all over the place over the past few weeks here, starting the new year at work. The schedule for the Oilers now, as things sit, we go for the Hawks, then we have a rematch with the Kings on the 13th, so Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Then we've got a Wednesday night matchup against the Minnesota Wild. That'll be good. And then a Thursday night matchup against the Colorado Avalanche, and then Saturday against the Canucks. So this next week of action, 4 games in a span of 6 days, is going to be a very important stretch for our Edmonton Oilers team here, as they are going to desperately have to heat up and get something done here against the caliber of opponents of the Kings, the Wild, the Avalanche, and the Vancouver Canucks. Desperately, it's going to be interesting to see what the Oilers manage against those teams in particular. I mean, you have a good week there and you win all 4, and you win tonight, suddenly things are looking a lot more rosy than they are entering the week right now, and that's to say things don't look all that bad right now. So for the Oilers, friends, we're just about to 5 o'clock, just about to light up the actual broadcast portion of tonight's hockey game, as we'll get the play-by-play going for you here in a matter of moments. But the Oilers, the Hawks, in a game in which the Oilers need to light up and get something done tonight in the goal-scoring column. The Oilers' goals for, obviously, this season, 135, which is not quite there. It's actually, in terms of the division, 8 back of the Vegas Golden Knights. It's several back of the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, about 18 back, and it's about 12 back of the Colorado Avalanche for kind of the lead in the division. So for the Oilers tonight, you score a couple big goals, you score a couple of cheap ones, whatever you want to say. Somebody has an 8-point night. Things are going to look very, very good for the Oilers against the Chicago Blackhawks, and especially when you kind of get into that situation where, now all of a sudden you start being amongst the team or NHL leaders in team goal scoring. That would be definitely welcomed here for the Edmonton Oilers. So we're waiting for this game to get back up and underway here, friends. Around 5:08 is expected puck drop. Of course, Hockey Night in Canada might have something to say about that. Stay tuned as we get closer and closer to puck drop here this evening. For the pregame, really, it is Cal Picard who starts tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. And then Derek Ryan and Josh Brown draw in to the into the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers as Jeff Skinner and Josh Brown comes out, Troy Stetcher comes in, as the Oilers shuffle things around a little bit here on a Saturday night. Officially now, the Hockey Night in Canada kind of intro gets us going for tonight's hockey game. I don't know who they're going to choose as the band tonight. They've had some interesting choices this year, as it looks like, if I recognized anybody on that stage, as it's going to be Bush. Okay, so Bush is the band that will lead the Oilers into Hockey Night in Canada action this evening, before we get the Chicago Blackhawks here on the Saturday night. Kind of an original 6 game for the Oilers here this evening, as we wait to get this one up and underway in a few minutes' time. So obviously right now we're waiting for what should be a big time Oilers blowout if they play their game again. If they kind of come off that same low that the Pittsburgh Penguins did to beat us last time out, right? The Penguins didn't have a very good game the game before, and then came out and just blew the barn doors off the Oilers in that first period play. So if the Oilers can take that same lesson, they will find a way to win tonight. As I think if you bury the Hawks early, I know the Hawks kind of have a little bit of scrappiness to them, but again, for the Oilers, if you bury them early, get up 3-4 goals, and then go out there and smash them around late in the third period as well, when they've kind of stopped skating, that would be a huge help for this Edmonton Oilers squad in a game in which you desperately need to score some goals, right the ship, get the confidence going heavy into a week in which, oh boy, it's going to be a hard week for the Edmonton Oilers this evening against, or this week coming up, against some high caliber opponents. So waiting for the hockey game to get up and underway here in a matter of moments, friends. I can barely talk. I've taken a pretty lazy day today, a couple of naps, and really not too much at all of substance. As the Oilers, I kind of had this circled on my calendar here going into today. This would be the day we get going with something. And, well, this 7th live stream of the season, ready to rock and roll. 7th live stream through 42 games. What is that? 1 out of every 6 games streamed. That is a little bit of a problem here this season. We've been better over the past few years. I promised myself better this year, but unfortunately time frames and prior commitments have been making the difference here this year. The Toronto Maple Leafs 27-14-2 on the season. The Montreal Canadiens now up to 20-18-3 on the season. The Dallas Stars at 26-13-1. So the Oilers, as you know, kind of the situation here, as Patrick's saying, a record first half still doesn't net the Oilers the result you're looking for. The Jets at 28-12-1. Again, they've had a pretty good start to the year as well. 59 points on the calendar. The Oilers currently sitting at 53 through 41 games. And the Chicago Blackhawks 14-26-2 on the NHL season. So just waiting for this one to finish the pregame portion, and then, friends, we'll get started with the play-by-play action of tonight's game. We are, like I said, just a few minutes away from this hockey game getting up and underway in Chicago this evening. The Oilers continuing their road trip as they march on the way home here over the next few, I think, for the LA Kings game, and then they go back out on the road, actually, is they go to Minnesota and Colorado and then come back against Vancouver. I'm not exactly sure if I've got that right, but we'll see what happens here as the Oilers waiting to get things going here this evening against Chicago. Gene Principe has our hosting duties this evening. That's awesome for Gene. He gets another 5 p.m. Hockey Night in Canada game. And Kyle Bukauskas has the game out there in Toronto as he gets things let up for today's action, 11:29 Eastern time. Leading into the dressing rooms, being very, very quiet for the Vancouver Canucks, as Rick Tocchet and Craig Berube talking things over in the tunnels, as well as it was the Vancouver Canucks who were slow to get into Toronto today due to some bad weather down there in Carolina. Sean McKenzie has us in Montreal, I do believe, as he'll lead us through the Dallas Stars and Montreal Canadiens today, as the Oilers looking to get things going against the Blackhawks here, as we've got some flashbacks here to, I believe that's Jeff Molson, or Molson guys there, as Canadiens could be in the mix for a lottery pick, and that's okay. Yeah. The Montreal Canadiens were doubted heavy at the start of the year, but they have picked things up. I don't know if you've been keeping eyes on the Montreal Canadiens, but since about that early December, they've started definitely turning their season around as well. They were definitely in a bit of a mess there early on in the season, and they've found a way to get things going here this year. So Nathan MacKinnon, only 17 goals on the season, leads the NHL with 68 points. Of course, Leon Draisaitl is not too far back with his 61, but the Oilers are definitely looking for some more goal scoring and some more point scoring from Leon Draisaitl tonight. If all goes according to plan, that would be a huge addition to the Oilers' attack today. And we are just about set for Gene Principe now to lead us through the Hawks and the Oilers as we get towards game time at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois this evening, as Connor McDavid spent the day yesterday in Erie, and then Connor Bedard, of course, he's had himself a pretty good season despite all the struggles in Chicago. He's been a big part of why they've at least been able to win some hockey games this year, so we'll see if he is able to keep his little bit of streak of good luck against the Oilers going here. So we are just about set for things here this evening against the Hawks and the Oilers. We'll have one last TV timeout, and then we'll get things going. The Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks. A 5 p.m. puck drop. Of course, that's going to be awesome to have a early start to the action today, as we look forward to having the Oilers up and done early on as Saturday night, so as we can go out and enjoy our Saturday nights if we so choose. Tonight, though, I think I'm going to stay in the house, relax, rest up, and really enjoy myself a really low-key, low event, easy to manage Saturday night after a night out last night. So we'll see what the Oilers have in store for us this evening. Friends, again, glad to have you aboard here as we kind of peek up towards game time. 5:08 expected puck drop. We're closing in on that right here, right now. And the Oilers just have to kind of show up and show out a little bit tonight. That's kind of the idea, is go out there and really produce a result for us that hopefully is a positive one for the goal scoring department and for the win department for the Edmonton Oilers, because the more goals they score tonight kind of get the juices flowing for what's going to be, as I said, a hard week upcoming for this Edmonton Oilers team against some higher caliber opponents. Again, Chicago's not quite the caliber of opponent you're going to be facing here in the next few days, so you kind of gotta take that where you will and hope the Oilers can come up with some big goal scoring, get the feel for the puck again after that Pittsburgh game kind of got away from them early on, and then hopefully just start dominating this week and go 4-0 following tonight's game going into next Saturday after we have a result against the Vancouver Canucks. So let me see what else we got here, as Patrick Laine's back in the lineup for Montreal. So is David Savard, as Savard draws in on the third line. Hudson, Matheson, Goulet, Carrier, and Jackeye, and Savard on the defense there for the Montreal Canadiens. For the Vancouver Canucks, Hughes, Myers, Forbert, Soucy, Brisebois, and Juleson. Yikes, that Vancouver Canucks team is in a world of hurt. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that, but Vancouver Canucks team definitely not having quite the season they were expecting to have, as the Oilers lines look like they will stay steady here to begin action this evening, and we should have a puck drop here as it's not going to be 5:08, it'll probably be 5:12, as we are the early game on Hockey Night in Canada. That doesn't surprise me. You know how this goes, as we are closing in on hopefully a good game this evening from our Edmonton Oilers. We're hoping to see them score a ton of goals. Again, that's the idea here tonight. If the Oilers can find a way to score a ton of goals, we will be flying against the Chicago Blackhawks into what will be a very hard week ahead. You have the Kings, you have the Wild, you have the Colorado Avalanche, and you have the Vancouver Canucks as we get things going. As we've got an advertisement here for the TGL, as they kicked things off here last weekend, didn't they? As they're looking to have a big whatever. I don't even know what they're trying to do there in the TGL. They're trying to show off golf for a casual. I don't know what it is, but I guess there's a lot of talk about it. That's really all I know. And we are still on commercial break. Just get me to the dang game already. I figured we'd start at 4:45 and not really have to wait that long here tonight. But again, I should know better with these 5 o'clock Hockey Night in Canada games. One should at least know better is what I'm saying. As we close in on the pregame coming to an end here, we should be almost ready for this Edmonton Oilers team to get up and underway, as we should be entering the United Center here right away as we go outside for a shot there from the outside. And of course they have that giant parking lot on the one side there as well. So we now come inside for the player intros, and we are just about ready to rock and roll here, friends. The Edmonton Oilers, the Chicago Blackhawks in Chicago this evening, as Connor McDavid will start the game on the bench. That would appear to mean it'll probably be the Draisaitl line starting out there on the ice as well, because I believe Connor Brown's on the bench as well. So Draisaitl put goals in, and of course Victor Arvidsson will try and get things going here this evening for the Oilers. The first shift of the game up against Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. Bedard will start the game on the ice as we get things fired up for this evening's action. Closing in on things here, we've got a war veteran out there on the ice, I believe is what we're applauding here. And we're about set to get things going for this evening's action with Jim Cornelison singing the national anthems. My goodness, we're going to struggle our way through the live stream this evening, aren't we? As we've got O Canada to begin. It's a double anthem game, so sit back, take a few extra minutes. If you need to go grab that coffee off the pod or whatever you need to do, get that done, as the Oilers look forward to getting things going. There's Connor McDavid standing in the stands. Just kidding, that's Cam McDavid. Those two guys look way too much like each other. They could just be switching out there in the gear every single game, really, if they wanted to, with how similar they look. There's Brett Kulak on the blue line for the Oilers this evening. He will start probably alongside Darnell Nurse as we just wait for O Canada to wind up here at the United Center. Derek Ryan back in the lineup for the Oilers this evening as well. Troy Stetcher comes back in. Josh Brown removed from the lineup for now, as we've got a young fan in the Heritage Classic uniform from last year. That one sitting right up there. And Darnell Nurse on the ice as well. So the Oilers will choose to go with Nurse and Kulak on the defense to at least begin action tonight. Somebody in the animated Hunter hoodie. We've got a lot of actual Oilers jerseys here out there in Chicago this evening, as we are about set for O Canada to wrap up here and really get us going for what should be a good hockey game this evening. We'll get a chance for the Oilers to try and score a ton of goals. That is the idea here this evening. The Oilers have to come up with a huge goal scoring effort against the Chicago Blackhawks and, just get the juices flowing for a good week ahead, hopefully, as we are getting closer and closer to action here this evening. A couple more Oilers fans, another one in the reverse retro there from several years ago now at this point, as we've got a ton of folks out there as we get things going here. A World War II and Korea veteran there on the ice for the Chicago Blackhawks pregame this evening, as we get Closer and closer to game time. It looks like Mrazek is on the bench. It'll be Soderblom in net for the Chicago Blackhawks. Again, that strikes me and worries me here a little bit this evening, as you know how those backups and stuff usually do against the Edmonton Oilers as we bring home the national anthem here this evening in Chicago. As we're closing in on puck drop finally. It's taken long enough. It's 5:14. I don't think there was any pregame shenanigans in Chicago. It just took forever and ever to get where we were going this evening. But hey, that's fine and dandy. We'll survive. As we close in on puck drop now, officially the U.S. national anthem coming to an end here as they do. I mean, again, Chicago does the St. Patrick's uniform so well. And here we go. Let's do this, friends. Final lines of the Star Spangled Banner out and done at the United Center in Chicago. Let's get to this. Hopefully the pregame is the most boring part of the action tonight. The Oilers hopefully come out of the gate flying and ready to take on the Chicago Blackhawks in a very important game to, again, get in the win column and hopefully build a 2-point advantage here on both Vegas and LA if they both find a way to lose in action this evening. The Oilers desperately, if they can win a hockey game tonight, are going to do themselves some favors, at least at a bare minimum, keep pace with LA and Vegas. So here we go. Cal Pickard in net for the Edmonton Oilers, 9-4-0 record, 2.46 goals against average, and an .898 save percentage for our backup netminder Pickard, who will start this evening's action, and then Arvid Soderblom, who will get the start at 6-10-1, 292 goals against average, and a .905 save percentage this season for the Chicago Blackhawks. He will get duties in net for the Hawks this evening. Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Podkolzin start up front for the Edmonton Oilers in action against the Hawks. Face off momentarily here as Kulak and Darnell Nurse ride the blue line here to begin things this evening. Connor Bedard on the left wing to take things into consideration for the Hawks this evening. Or is he taking the face off? Is he working at center now, or is he still playing wing for the Hawks? I'm not 100% sure. We'll see what happens here as he draws in as well. I thought he was a winger. Maybe I'm just not keeping up with these kids nowadays. As we'll have the face off between Draisaitl and Bedard at center ice. Bertuzzi on the left wing for the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's do this. The Edmonton Oilers ready to rock and roll for what should be a good hockey game this evening. Face off down to the far side wing it goes for Darnell Nurse at his own blue line. 19:55 to go here in the first period as Arvidsson leads ahead into the Hawks zone around to the far side. Hawks pick it up on the right wing boards inside their own end. They're going to make the play with it here near side. It'll be picked up by Martinez, flipped in front of the Oilers bench, across the line, stolen away there by Draisaitl, picked up by Kulak behind Pickard, and he'll lead up against the right wing, trying to get out of his own zone to the far side. The Oilers attacking left to right on your television screens this evening as this puck's flipped up along the boards to the middle of the ice, and Kulak will retreat right in front of Pickard, and behind now he goes as the Hawks just kind of stymie the Oilers at least to begin the action here tonight. Is taken over behind the net now. The Oilers will get out into the neutral zone. Bouchard leads ahead now for Nugent Hopkins, who will backhand down low into the Hawks zone. Playing it along the boards there is Nick Foligno, now battling again for the puck. Zach Hyman trying to get that one free. McDavid, really the speed here for the Oilers, not looking like a factor at least to begin action so far as this puck goes to the far side. Hyman on the headman pass through the neutral zone is driving that puck deep into the Hawks zone. No real result there, and it goes back to the blue line. Cut off there on a chip by Ekholm. Foligno picks it up for a pass over to Dickinson. The shot fools Pickard, goes off his blocker, goes into the air, and picked up behind the net for Evan Bouchard, where it looks like the camera is very off balance here as Bouchard will come down near side for Brown. Brown will lead ahead, or else things are really, really tight in the United Center. Really not sure which, as this puck's in behind the Hawks net, near side corner now. 18:15 to go, and there's been not much of substance here to begin tonight's hockey game as Henrique off the boards back to the blue line. The shot through traffic blocked. Another shot niftily passed by Henrique over to Brown, blocked again. And the Oilers trying to tie this one up at the Hawks blue line. It ultimately comes to now to Stetcher. He'll lead back into the near side corner as Henrique goes battling down low. Henrique off the wall as Brown will chip it along the wall as well. And both teams tie it up just back to the blue line where Jan Mark fires down around behind the net all the way to the near side. Brown ties up a man in Allen again, and just allows the Hawks now to retrieve it behind their own net and get things going. 2.5 minutes to go, or gone, sorry, in this first period of play. And the Oilers yet to really do anything so far in this hockey game other than just have a couple of board battles. Puck comes now down to Pickard. Pickard over to Emerson off the boards. Stolen away there by the Hawks as they'll fire a shot towards the net off a body. And out of play, and this camera guy's got to get things going because it looks like the ice is at an angle like this here in Chicago this evening. As yikes, this is a weird camera setup there for Hockey Night in Canada. And that one off of the blocker of Pickard just kind of comes right up into the air. And then this one here, a nifty play by Henrique and a big block there by TJ Brody, as this one will be a face-off inside the Oilers zone around the far side. It goes back to the middle of the ice. Both teams kind of pick this one up here, and it'll be stolen there by the Oilers. Good defense at the blue line. The shot by Emberson rings the post. Oh, what a chance there for the Oilers, and back into the neutral zone. Fired back in by the Oilers as Kapanen somehow got that shot. I don't know if they registered that on net or not. And here's now the Hawks coming back near side across the blue line. It's chipped back into the Oilers zone as Pickard will go down low now for Kulak over the near side. Arvidsson will chip through to Draisaitl to the far side now. Podkolzin driving the net. Podkolzin releases a shot on Soderblom and just can't get it to bite past his shoulders. Here's now Arvidsson again. Arvidsson off the boards, picking it up now. Draisaitl down low to Arvidsson, trying to feed in front to Podkolzin. Can't get it going, but this line starting to get something going as Draisaitl biffs it into the boards here, and that allows the Hawks to come back the other way. Shiftily through center is Bedard across to the far side. Bertuzzi will fire it down and around to the near side for Kurashev. Kurashev gets it off the backhand of Ekholm as Mikheyev? Oh, Mikheyev. Not sure who any of these Hawks players are nowadays. As Mikheyev out there on the top line with Bedard. Here's right in front. Bedard drag into the middle. He is defended well by a good stick there of Matthias Ekholm, and then Bedard flips up on the shot. Now pass there across the line for the Oilers as they will try to decide between going for a line change and trying to get an attack going. And here's McDavid now on the ice. McDavid poke check last second by a good stick of the Blackhawks, Seth Jones, as this one will come across the line for Dickinson now on the attack for the Blackhawks, trying to get things generated here on a little bit of zone time for the Chicago side. Another turnover at the blue line keeps things going. Dickinson with the puck around to the far side. Shot fired back down low, picked up by Foligno. Dickinson to the middle of the ice. The shot scores, as I don't know what Cal Pickard was doing there, but Teuvo Teravainen has found the back of the net, and the Hawks take the 1-0 lead on a rather sloppy time in the zone there by the Oilers. And Connor McDavid standing up against the boards, looking like this one might be reviewed as it came to the blue line. I don't think the Hawks held that one cleanly. It came around the boards on a missed shot there by Dickinson, and then Foligno out there back, and then the shot through traffic just kind of finds the weak side on Pickard. And I'm sorry, that one's a little inexcusable. We'll love to blame Stuart Skinner, but that was a tough goal to let in there by Pickard. Awake, welcome in, as we will not have a challenge on that goal. I don't know what McDavid was looking at, as he'll not even remain out there on the ice, I don't believe, as this one's picked up by Henrique. Emerson off the end wall. Teravainen's 10th goal of the season. The Oilers, again, a slow start to the hockey game cost them the first goal of the game, as this one will be picked up by Stetcher over to the far side. 14:50 to go. Janmark back down to Stetcher. Play in front to Henrique. Jam at the side of the net. Scramble. Janmark can't get the stick through, and here coming back the other way, the Hawks will backhand it down low behind the Oilers net. Pickard out to play a backhand paddle flip to Emerson. Emerson picks up now. Here's Brown. Brown wheeling and dealing through the neutral zone. Here's Janmark down the right wing, trying to get it back onto the tape of Brown. He couldn't feed him, as Brown will look back to the blue line now. Bouchard over to Ekholm through traffic. The shot drifts into the near side corner, and the Hawks will lift out to center ice for Evan Bouchard. Bouchard will now lead ahead and allow Kapanen to just fire it in near side corner. 14:10 to go here in this first period of play. Pucks along the near side boards back into the Oilers zone, and we will have a whistle for icing on that play. The Oilers, not a good start here, but so far in the hockey game, all told, only 3 shots on net, and the Hawks scored on their second of the game. The Oilers, if they get their second one here with a fourth line shift, who knows, maybe find the back of the net as Derek Ryan draws in here. He'll have to face off inside the zone against Donato. Back to the blue line it goes. Bouchard fires the shot off the blocker that time of Soderblom, so no luck there for the Edmonton Oilers. This one will be picked up by Donato inside the Oilers zone. Shoulder save there. Hall going in the boards against Ryan. Back to the near side. Here's the Hawks trying to fire it around back to Hall. Hall, the former Oiler, up along the boards, back to the blue line, looking to make the pass there. Seth Jones fires it down low to Donato again as the Oilers see things working around inside their own zone. Is a nice little bit of stick play there for the Oilers. Disrupted the Hawks attack for a brief moment. Puck back to the top of the zone, goes out there on the Hawks, so Martinez couldn't hold the offensive zone possession for the Chicago, and this will come back into the near side corner now. 13-15 to go here in this first period of play. Both teams battling in the corner, picking it up now. Kapanen will try and lead this one out to center for Derek Ryan. Derek Ryan backhands it to the far side for Darnell Nurse. Nurse around to the near side, picking it up now on the backhand. A nice play by Kulak and Arvidsson to kind of communicate on that one. Although the Hawks with the puck able to exit the zone as they will pick this one up, scoop ahead as Bedard couldn't quite get around the bigger bodied Leon Draisaitl, as this one's now Arvidsson backhanding into the neutral zone. Screen freezes and the Oilers have an opportunity on net. Draisaitl fires a shot wide, and this has been some low event hockey through 7.5 minutes at least to begin action here tonight. The shot drifted towards the net, goes wide again on a block shot, and another one queued up there by Chicago, blocked by the Oilers. 12:22 to go here in this first period of play as Chicago rolling around the zone, and the shot to the side of the net there. A nice play by Darnell Nurse to direct traffic, a turnover by Kulak, and then a scramble in front for Draisaitl. I don't know what's going on here as Draisaitl will play over now to Arvidsson. Arvidsson looking to play this puck up along the wall, back to the blue line. Bouchard rips a cannon on net, 90 miles even on the dot, and just couldn't quite get that one to fire past the pad of Soderblom. 11:54 to go here in this first period of play. 1-0. Chicago leads the Oilers. Puck tipped through traffic in the neutral zone into the Chicago end, as both teams just really don't seem to have the jump that you normally would on a Saturday night. As this one comes back now near side for Hyman, he'll rip it down low to Soderblom, who will play that puck with 11.5 to go here in this one in this first period, as this will be tipped back into the zone here, as this is right in front of the net for Chicago, as this will be behind the net. Rolling around now, a chance. McDavid sets up. Nugent Hopkins just couldn't fire a blocker side on Soderblom. Good looking opportunity out of the corner there for McDavid, as this will now be Foligno. Foligno working across the line, looking to get this one going now. Bouchard, 11 minutes to go here in this first period of play. The shots are 4-3. It's been a very slow first period thus far, and the camera still has it looking like the ice is tilted on a 45-degree angle as here's Soderblom out from behind his own net, trying to bounce that off the boards, picking it up now. Chicago into the Oilers zone. Doc players it down to Pickard. Pickard will leave it there now for Henrique along the boards after jamming it, and now Brown trying to lead through center ice, can't do it. 10:30 to go here in his first period of play. Stetcher looking to make the play off the boards. He will see it backhanded down low to Emberson, who took a jolt there and just kind of stuttered that puck along the wall, as Emberson will come back down in behind. 10:17 to go here in the first period. As time continues to wind away from both these teams, Chicago leads 1-0. This game has been really not much of substance so far, as this puck's over near side now for Brown. Brown will fire it down low. Andy, welcome aboard, as this one's picked up by Podkolzin. Exactly half the period remaining. And the Oilers, well, in terms of scoring a bunch of goals, yet to really do it here, as Nurse will fire the shot, blocked in front by Hall. Hall will carry forward through the neutral zone. The former first overall pick, the shot save made by Pickard, and this will be picked up now by Draisaitl as he'll try and lead out of his own zone. 9:40 to go here in this first period of play. Draisaitl across the line will fire down low into the Hawks zone. Picked up now by Vlasic. Vlasic is going to see a battle there ensue with Arvidsson and Podkolzin. Draisaitl helping along the far side wing, couldn't contain that puck. Donato now to the attack here. He'll try and walk across the line with Hall cut in the middle, but there will be an offside on the play with 19:20 to go here in this first period of play. So it's the Hawks who score first. Goal right there that, you got to have a save on that one from Pickard. That was really not much of a dangerous chance at all there for the Hawks, and Pickard just didn't seal the post with the pad and ends up allowing a bad one. And now all of a sudden you've got a situation where the Oilers, in a sleeper so far, find themselves down 1-0. There's been 3 hits in the game so far, but all 3 belong to the Hawks. Really low event hockey. Jason Dickinson and Nick Foligno pick up the points on the goal by Teuvo Teravainen. So for the Oilers here tonight, they've got to get things going here in this late stages of this first period. It's been, like I said, a very tough game so far from an Oilers fan perspective, because you would have expected a better outcome, at least in the first bit of the hockey game. Whether you win or lose, who cares? But this game's definitely not quite been what I'd expect out of the Oilers against the Hawks, except for, I guess, to say it would be exactly what I'd expect out of the Oilers against the Chicago Blackhawks. As we close in on the commercial breaks, friends, thank you for being aboard. Welcome aboard. Again, if you're just tuning in, haven't left a like yet on the stream, make sure to do that here this evening. Appreciate you being aboard for the Oilers. 4 shots in this hockey game now officially credited. So really not much of anything happening between the Hawks and Oilers so far tonight. And hopefully they just kind of find a way to pick it up here in this late stages of this first period, as both teams desperately kind of need to get in gear here this evening against, 2 teams that both teams should be motivated to play against. So trying to figure something out here as we go right there. We're flying in as we get towards the back half of this first period. Top selling jerseys this season for the NHL: Connor Bedard, Alex Ovechkin, Austin Matthews, and Connor McDavid, rounding out by Sidney Crosby. As Bouchard across to the far side, Nugent Hopkins and McDavid a little give and go, and here we go, a little bit of pace from McDavid now as he's cutting around the outside, around the Hawks defense. Bouchard over near side now for Nugent Hopkins. The first real time the Oilers seem to have whipped the puck around the offensive zone today. Ekholm plays it down low to McDavid, and then the puck gets jumbled up by the Hawks with already another 30 seconds killed off the clock. Loading up McDavid, though, a pass there by Bouchard off to Nugent Hopkins, who, to his credit, is shooting the puck here tonight. I think Nuge has 2 of the 5 shots for the Oilers so far as the first half versus the second half. First half record last 3 seasons, 581 points percentage for the Oilers. In the second half, 707 points percentage. So the Oilers' best record at halfway mark since the 86-87 season. Well, how about this? 80, 29, and 14 in the second half of the year in the last 3 seasons, whether that be under Jay Woodcroft, Chris Knobloch, or, I guess even maybe Dave Tippett still. No, I don't know. Where would Dave Tippett factor into all that? I think he would maybe have a couple games in that situation. 8:45 to go here in this first period of play as the Hawks to the near side, bouncing into the neutral zone. Henrique at center ice will just dump it into the far side corner inside the Hawks zone, picking it up along the wall now. The Chicago trying to exit their own territory. 8.5 to go here out of the corner. The Oilers jamming to the front of the net. Nice power move by Connor Brown, trying to get that one on net. Shot tipped there in front by Brown again. Ryan Nugent Hopkins have been noticeable so far in this game. Brown had a little bit of board work earlier, and I think Nuge, with a couple of shots on goal, has been a force in this hockey game, at least to start, as the Oilers battling along the wall. As Henrique, we'll see it worked out there by Bertuzzi to Mr. Connor Bedard, and then back it comes as Allen will fire this shot in around to the far side. Here's Darnell Nurse playing it down low to Stetcher. Stetcher back around to the far side again. 7:52 to go as this puck goes into the benches or out of play with 7:50 on the clock, so we'll have a stoppage in play. 5-5 the shots, and really not much at all happening here in this hockey game as Brown power move to the front and just lost the handle on that puck last second here in this middle part of this first period, second half of the first period, where the Oilers, again, to their credit, not doing much at all and now getting out hit 5-0 here in this first period. So the Oilers really haven't mustered much at all against the Hawks thus far this evening, and at some point maybe they're going to get in gear here, or maybe they won't. Who knows? It's the Edmonton Oilers against a bottom feeder team. You know how that goes. All too often, if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, it's usually not the result you're hoping for. So the Oilers obviously sleeping along here tonight, friends. Same as me. Honestly, it's been kind of a very sleepy game thus far, and a hard one to get into from top to bottom. You could almost notice it right out of the gate for the Oilers here tonight, and hopefully we can kind of get things going in some direction here following the game. I will tell you, I think we're going to, if the Oilers can't find a way to score a couple goals and light me up here, I think we're going to take an extended break in the first period intermission, go eat dinner, and continue the stream in the second, unless we have lots to talk about. Again, if it's 1-0 to Chicago after the first, I don't exactly need to sit here and yammer away. I'll put you on the subscribe ad, and we'll just go get things done for dinner time here tonight. So, wonder what all is being said. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else really going on here. As Draisaitl, just really the best play of the game so far. Just beat Draisaitl beat Bedard back into the zone. His heart versus heart so far this season is, Draisaitl tied for 17th in the league with assists with 30. Second in the league with points, second in the league with even strength points, and it's pretty much him and Nathan MacKinnon that are running that race at this point. So that's where we're at. And awake, yes, this game should be streaming on CBC. It is Hockey Night in Canada. Trailer here, Emerson, backhand off the pad. Oh, it squeaked out. You've got to be kidding me. I thought for sure Arvidsson had tucked it underneath Soderblom. 7:37 to go, a whistle blows, but what a chance there coming out of the commercial break. Emerson right down Main Street, and then just ends up, Arvidsson can't tuck it on the backhand as this one to the middle there. Just a nice play and just squeaked out off the pad of Soderblom as a chance for Arvidsson. He couldn't believe he was denied, so the Oilers' second line, the Oilers' second line's been their best line in this hockey game by far. Nugent Hopkins, Brown have been the other bright spots on the other lines. And then, of course, other than that, it's been a very sleepy game. The Oilers now lead the shot clock 6-5, 7.5 minutes to go. We'll have a stoppage in play. Not sure if it's an offside or do we have a penalty upcoming to the Edmonton Oilers here midway through this first period of play as Draisaitl just strolling around the zone. We'll line up outside in the neutral zone here. And it will be a face-off. 7th in NHL, averaging 25:03 ice time here for the Hawks, as we'll have the face-off now for the Oilers. Outside their own blue line, now drawn in is Podkolzin, as of course, Leon Draisaitl's been kicked out. Puck won there by the Hawks. It'll be fired in quickly, and then now picked up by Podkolzin in the far side corner as Emerson leads ahead now for Arvidsson near side wing. He'll play it to the middle of the ice as across the line. A nifty play there by Kulak, just denied by the Hawks, and picking up steam now. Arvidsson looking to get it going right down the middle for Kulak. A swat at it on the second follow through. He was a mile away from that puck, but he had to try it. Here's now a chance to the middle of the ice, picked up by Kulak again. 6:55 to go here in this first period of play. The Oilers starting to slowly come to life here across the line. Perry, shot fired, save made there by Soderblom, and then now Ekholm to the far side, rolling into the corner, trying to avoid traffic from the Hawks. 3 players swallow him up, and Donato will tap it out to center ice for Hall. Hall leading across now for Donato, and denied there by Ekholm. Ekholm back to the blue line, couldn't quite get it out. 6:28 to go here in this first period of play. Near side pass for Vlasic. This one will be picked up and across and fired down. To the far side it goes as Chicago controls inside the Oilers zone. Shot fired, Mikheyev. I think that one hit him. As this will be backhanded again down low. Mikheyev trying to come up with this puck. 6:06 to go here in this first period of play. Mikheyev off the spin in the corner there, trying to get over back to the blue line as the Hawks set up sustained zone time with the Bedard line on the ice here. 5:54 to go. Really still nothing of substance happening though, as this will be picked up by Ekholm along the boards, and Kapanen thought he had it stolen away. A save by Pickard, and now here's a chance for the Oilers' fourth line to lead ahead. Ryan across the line, looking to get this one going as it'll be backhanded down low. 5:35 to go here in this first period as again time just continues to wind down, and both teams really doing not much of anything. Chicago shoots it in. Pickard out to play it, leaves it there for Nurse. Nurse will reverse back around behind the net and lead through the middle of the ice. It'll be cut off there by Chicago as the Oilers forced to dump it in. And we'll have an icing call on the play with 5:16 to go in this first period of play as Hyman comes out. And so far in this game, not much happening if you're an Oilers fan and just tuning in, friends. It's been a sleepy, slow one thus far. The Oilers really with not much to really say about this one, and I do appreciate you hanging tough. Obviously, whatever I did with my nap schedule today has absolutely beat a guy up. Not quite at 100% today. Late night again last night. Been a lot of late nights recently. Maybe I have to hone in and get back going with the early bedtimes here as Dickinson taps the ice a couple times just to fool off the face-off draw, and that allows the Hawks to set up zone time again as this will be along the near side. Foligno to the far side will get this one going back now for Teravainen. The shot fired through traffic. Rebound, scores off the end wall. Foligno tapped that one home. A bad beat there again for Pickard. And Chicago takes a 2-0 lead. 4:59 to go here in this first period of play. And Chicago has extended the lead to 2-0. Connor McDavid, just a loss for words here how this game started. This has been a brutally sleepy game here for the Oilers. And they have been costed on it so far as Pickard looks lost out there in the net. He just doesn't seem to be setting up. And that one gets beat to the near far post by Foligno. And I know he didn't know where that puck was, but you got to try and track that a little bit better, as that's again that near side post on the near side boards. He just hasn't sealed it, and that's Foligno's 11th of the season. We'll have a stoppage and play. I mean, this game has been lackluster, no physicality, no real effort here from the Oilers so far, and it looks like now, do we have a penalty upcoming or what's going on here? 4:54 to go in this first period of play, and just really not much to say about this one other than it's been exactly what you didn't need coming out of the game against Pittsburgh. You needed a response, and the Oilers, they have really not given much of a response at all here tonight. A very slow, sleepy game. And I would tell you, for the Oilers, they just need to get something going here. Is this it's been a slow game, and rebound off the boards. Tough, brutal. I don't think there's anything else we need to really mention here, as I think we're pretty well covered. Really, there's not been much for the Oilers so far in this hockey game. It's Pickard really hasn't been sharp, and the rest of the Oilers have been terrible. So that's kind of where we sit throughout this hockey game so far, friends. It's been a slow, sleepy start. Just tough. The Oilers so far showing up nothing here in this one. We are flying along here on the stream, friends. Thank you for being aboard. Do appreciate you hanging out here tonight. But it's been a very slow game for the Edmonton Oilers, and against a bottom feeder team like this, they love the chase late in a hockey game, similar to what we did against Pittsburgh. But this is gonna be what it's gonna be for the Oilers, and you got to show up and get this job done here. Late in this first period, again, come alive, get a power play, get something, move your feet, because the Oilers have definitely not been doing that thus far this evening, as they have been very, very, very slow out of the gates this evening. As we'll have the face-off at center ice, redoing something after that botched icing call or whatever led to the commercial break. As this puck to the far side now, Ekholm's going to lead out of the zone. Here's now Emerson down the right wing, trying to force a puck to the middle of the ice. Couldn't get a clean puck through. And now here comes back the other way, a chance for the Hawks, and this just ends up turning over as this comes now for Brown, loading up a shot through traffic, dribbles wide. Henrique back to the blue line, over now Stetcher's got the puck, fired through traffic. The Oilers have blended the defensive lines here a bit, and that's where we're at. 4:20 to go here in this first period of play. 2-0. The lead for the Chicago Blackhawks. 8-7. The shots on goal for the Edmonton Oilers. And things not looking good so far. NHL debut for Doc was back on January 3rd, 62nd overall pick in the 2021 NHL Enter Draft. As Draisaitl draws in, I'm sure he'll get to take this face off. I guarantee it. And no way he gets kicked out, right? He actually stays in there, and the Oilers win the face off. Podkolzin tries scrambling it up. 4.5 minutes to go here in this first period of play. Puck back to the near side boards, and the Hawks try and swat that one down to Bertuzzi. As here's now Arvidsson across, backhand, doesn't get on net, and the Oilers trying to keep this one alive inside the Hawks zone as Darnell Nurse plays it along the boards, and this will be the Hawks now trying to get this up and out. 3:53 to go here, backhanded along the boards, picked up by Nurse. A play there by the Oilers will get it going at center ice. Dipsy doodle there by Draisaitl, and then lays the man down. Finally, the Oilers, for the first time all night, throw a hit, and now a turnover high in the zone. Over Draisaitl, the one-timer misses a wide-open net. That is the way the Oilers game is going tonight. It is net 3.5 remaining here in this first period of play. Puck just up over top of the hands of the Oilers player at the blue line. Here's Draisaitl over to the far side, and for Arvidsson, kicked off his skate wide. And now this one will be picked up to the near side as Mikheyev gets it going and picked up by Kulak in the neutral zone on the turnover. Wired back in, Mikheyev looking to get things back behind the net now. Picked up by Chicago again. He'll fire out into the neutral zone, and this will be a turnover by the Oilers that leads to Foligno coming back the other way. 2:58 to go here in this first period of play. Teravainen with the puck back in the middle of the ice. Dickinson, shot fired, save made by Pickard, and something didn't feel right, I don't think, there for Pickard, as he bends over in a little bit of disgust there after facing that shot. And the Oilers just, this has been sloppy hockey here from the Oilers so far in this hockey game. Seth Jones actually made a stellar play there on Victor Arvidsson when he was trying that backhand on net. And this one here, Pickard rides it up in the shoulder. Looks like it popped the strap on the helmet is actually what happened, as Dickinson wired that shot. And the helmet strap popped there for Pickard, and he will get everything reconfigured and continue on in the game. 2:49 to go here in this first period of play, in which this game has just been brutally slow for the Oilers so far, as Pickard tightens up the straps here. 2:49 remaining in this first period of play. 5-1-0 record. Last 6 starts, 252 goals against average, and a .902 save percentage for Pickard. He's been solid so far this season. Just again in a game where you can't really afford a sloppy goaltending performance, you've had 2 sloppy goals against to start action here tonight. 2:43 to go here in this first period of play. Puck across the blue line for the Oilers as Kulak will lead into the middle of the ice. It'll be cut off there by Chicago to the far side. The Oilers just can't seem to get this puck going in a positive manner. Here's a nice play by Ryan over to Kapanen. Kapanen spin move on Taylor Hall. Now Kapanen trying to get in on the attack. He's denied there with 2:20 to go here in this first period of play. Leading ahead now, Vlasic across the line. Be fired over to the far side boards. Picked up now by the Oilers near side. Kapanen with the puck. We'll tap it across to Ryan. It'll be turned over there now to Hall. Hall across the line. Backhands down low in the Oilers zone. Bouchard with the puck near side. Can't get it going. 2 minutes to go here in this first period of play as Bouchard strips it off the end wall as the Oilers trying to get things going from behind their own net. And finally Bouchard's able to escape the pressure there of Nick Foligno as this one across now near side. Played there by Bouchard, down low, picked up by the Oilers as maybe here's something in the last minute and a half. Getting going, the shot through traffic, blocked in front. Soderblom didn't know where that puck was. We tapped up off the boards. Ekholm gets it going now. Bouchard, $1:30 to go here as it'll be picked up now for the Oilers. Another chance here towards the net is opportunity for McDavid to get it over to Ekholm. Ekholm drags in front, puck bounces off a skate. $1:23 to go as the puck goes over to the far side boards. It's picked up now by Nugent Hopkins, worked there by Foligno, kept in by Ekholm. Down low, there's Hyman. Hyman spin move off the back end there as this will come back now near side for Bouchard over to McDavid. McDavid looking to play this puck to the far side boards. Couldn't quite do it with 57 seconds to go in this first period of play, and the Hawks will pretty much be content, I think, after a very sleepy first period here against the Oilers, to just wind down the clock. Mikheyev with a sloppy play here. Gets it going towards the net. Can't do it. 35 seconds. Back to the blue line. The shot on net goes wide there as the Hawks and Oilers just kind of tangle up inside their own zone. And as here's Arvidsson leading out to the far side. Draisaitl can't get across the blue line cleanly. And this will do it for the first period of play. A very slow event. First period, Arvidsson's trying to battle here along the middle of the ice. But I would tell you, this game is up and done as the Oilers just content to play pitch and catch inside their own zone and wind down the clock. As Nurse goes behind his own net. That will do it, friends, for the first period of play. Again, if you're tuning in for the first time, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. Appreciate you being aboard here tonight. But the Oilers, a sleepy performance at least to begin tonight's hockey game. We'll take our time here in the intermission. We'll see if the Oilers can come up with a better response. I'm going to go quickly take a good few minutes to eat as it's pierogies and kubasal, for supper this evening. So stay tuned. We'll be back on the stream here in a matter of moments, but just going to step aside to go eat right now. All right, let's do this, friends. The Edmonton Oilers, the Chicago Blackhawks. So far, a lackluster game from the Edmonton Oilers and a very, very poor performance in terms of almost every aspect of the game. Again, I think today you're seeing, the calls for the Oilers to switch up the goaltending a little bit. And again, we don't have to go outside the organization. We got a stud down there in Bakersfield in Olivier Rodrigue, who you almost certainly have to get a game against. Again, I think I was saying in the intermission there, maybe you get a game for Ollie there against the Canucks on Saturday. Just saying, that might be a game for him to suit up. Maybe not the high caliber opponent that you've got in terms of, Colorado, Minnesota, and LA here this week, but definitely something where maybe against a team like Vancouver, who's more or less in the hunt for the wild card spots this year, maybe a game where you can kind of get him a spot start to get his NHL debut up and underway. Again, I'm not 100% sure though. I think Ollie Rodrigue is waiver eligible if I'm not mistaken, so that could be also a little bit of an issue. So right now the Edmonton Oilers, here's the thing. The Oilers just to a T, every single guy on the ice in that first period was an absolute dud. There was not one player outside of a few bright moments from, maybe one cycle shift there from McDavid, Hyman, and Nugent Hopkins, and maybe a shot on net there that didn't actually end up happening on a drive by Connor Brown, and maybe a puck on net that saw some eyes through traffic by Evan Bouchard. There was really not much of substance in that first period play from the Edmonton Oilers, and if you're going to get things going, you're going to have to get things going here in this next period, because the Oilers cannot afford to be chasing again in the third period. Just can't afford it. That's really what it comes down to. So the Oilers, after 20, the stats, these are not going to be friendly to the Oilers whatsoever. I almost guarantee it. Shot attempts, the Oilers had 20. Again, really, overall, in terms of quality, not much. Hits for the Hawks after 20, 9-2 over top of the Oilers. And the scoring chances, 5-3 for the Chicago Blackhawks. So, really, just really a pathetic first period in terms of almost every category for the Edmonton Oilers, at least to begin tonight's action. Pickard just seems a little bit lost out there trying to make a couple of saves that end up being goals, and the Oilers just really don't show up with much of, if anything, of an effort here this evening, at least through the first 20. We'll get going here now with the second 20 and see what the Oilers can muster up for us. As you got to assume the Oilers are going to be in it to win it a little bit more here in this second period of play. Draisaitl out there against Connor Bedard in the face-off dot. Bedard and Draisaitl ready to take the opening draw of the second period. That, again, the Oilers' best line of the period was Draisaitl, Arvidsson, and Podkolzin. But again, it doesn't take much when nobody's really moving their feet or doing much at all, as this one comes now near side. Shots fired in by Nurse over to the far side. Arvidsson to the puck immediately. Is nice play by Podkolzin trying to find a streaking Draisaitl. Couldn't do it through traffic. Here come the Hawks back the other way as Nurse bounces it back into the middle of the ice. Draisaitl trying to come up through traffic. Here's now Podkolzin. Scores! I told you Podkolzin needed to have a good game tonight. And the Oilers from behind the net get the goal as Podkolzin jams it in front of the net. And there you have it. You start a better period just like that. And obviously the Oilers needed that and they got it. So 19:38 to go in the second period. Only 22 seconds in. A puck and winch. Draisaitl carries into the corner on a pass to Arvidsson, and then it's just a wrap-around attempt there by Arvidsson, a spin pass more or less right onto the tape of Podkolzin, who jams it far side on the Arvidsson, Arvid Soderblom, and away we went. So good effort there from the Oilers, obviously, to cut that lead to 2-1, and desperately needed something out of the Oilers right there to begin this period. So here we go. This one's picked up in the middle of the ice by the Oilers on the force out there by the Hawks out of their own zone is Draisaitl and Arvidsson picking up the assists on Podkolzin marker. Now Podkolzin up to 14 points. I think Arvidsson up to 13. So again, the Oilers' top 6 players starting to pick up points little by little here as the season continues to creep along. Ekholm over to the far side, wheeling and dealing around inside their own zone. Here's Kulak behind Pickard, trying to get things going as stream froze up there for a brief moment. Ekholm across the line, firing it down to the far side boards. Here's now Nugent Hopkins trying to spin it back to the blue line. Nobody home as the Oilers were completing line changes, and Pickard will just clearly play that off to Bouchard. Bouchard rips it up, a pass over to Nugent Hopkins. Now a streaking McDavid in on net, tucked it to the far side post and just missed wide. Did Connor McDavid as this puck comes free at the blue line again. Here's Bouchard firing it to the far side corner, picked up now by Hyman back to the blue line. Kulak fires off of body in front. McDavid in behind the net to the far side boards. Bouchard met it there at the point. McDavid trying to wheel and deal back over to Bouchard, now having to defend against the rush attempt here for the Hawks, and Bouchard takes the body, takes the man, and ultimately strips away the puck. Good defensive play there by Bouchard. Allows McDavid to pick it up back in the neutral zone. He'll retreat it back down to Kulak. Bouchard looking to get this puck going somewhere in a positive direction. 17:48 to go in this second period. Bouchard leads out from behind his own net. Janmark touch pass into this one here as this comes back down to the far side. It'll be picked up by Chicago, worked back into the middle of the ice, and Chicago across the center ice line now starts up the attack for Taylor Hall. That one's not going to be too fruitful as it was cut off there for a brief moment by Stetcher. Donato out there as well. So I think Maroon's doing some heavy lifting down low. Hall jamming it back in front. Cut there by the Oilers on a good defensive stick. Here's Hall now. The shot fired through traffic. Blocked again. Hall gets it back. He's spun off the puck. Brown's trying to come up with it. Shot from the blue line up over top of the net. 17:06 to go here in this second period to play. Puck along the end wall. Both teams battling as Nurse will pick it up. Nurse along the left wing, rolling and dealing out into the neutral zone. Here's Nurse, fires up a shot that gets blocked off the stick. Now trying to battle it free. Here's Connor Brown. Brown in front, pass, shot not coming as another stick ties up the Oilers yet again. This period suddenly moving along a little bit faster here so far. 16.5 to go in this second period to play. Nurse misplays the puck behind his own net, kind of twisted his stick on that play as the Hawks immediately jam on the puck. Here's now Emberson from out behind his own net, pass right through the middle now for Kapanen over to McDavid. McDavid playing it now back to Kapanen. The shot, save made by Soderblom through traffic, and the Oilers turn it over and starting back the other way. Here come the Hawks. Bedard across, will spin it. Bertuzzi gets it there along the near side wall, back to the blue line. Shot, save made. It goes off of a broken stick in the far side corner. And now do we have a penalty upcoming? No penalty from that referee. Not sure if anyone else is going to call anything. This here's back to the blue line, looking to make the pass down low. The Hawks rolling around inside the Oilers zone, as that's been trouble all game so far for the Oilers. They've given up 2 goals in that situation. As Crevier back to the far side, the pass over to the near side now. It'll be jammed down by the stick of Corey Perry. And Bedard still has the puck as it goes off of Kulak, picked up now by Kapanen, out to center ice for Connor McDavid and Corey Perry. McDavid trying to spin off the defender and drag around him, couldn't do it. Perry also couldn't get it going, as this will be picked up far side by Chicago out back to center, and then we'll flip in inside the Oilers zone as we kind of even back up to where we were in the first period. The Oilers a little bit more jammed to start this second period, at least in the first 5 minutes, as the goal scoring line back on the ice here, picked up by Foligno on a turnover by Arvidsson, back to the blue line. The shot through traffic, save made by Pickard, and now it'll be Arvidsson picking up this puck and trying to get things rolling here, as it'll be out to center ice, cut down there by Chicago, but we'll have the Oilers touch it for an offside, so we'll have a stoppage in play, and we'll keep things rolling. Ooh. Pierogies and sausage, maybe not the play for when you're live streaming, but don't mind me, as this one for the Oilers, they need to get things going, and for some reason I've just reset to where I was on the live stream a few moments ago, so We'll see if we can get back in sync here over the next little bit. But McDavid, just a couple of good chances here as well to start this second period, and then a good defensive play taking the body there and sealing Nazar from the net by Evan Bouchard. That was huge as the Oilers tried their best to keep things right where they are, and well, they have succeeded. At least 5 minutes and 15 seconds into this, what is now second period. Brody off the face-off dot. He'll play it back into the middle of the neutral zone for Chicago to fire it in all the way down to Pickard. Pickard will roll up along the wall. This will be picked up again near side by the Oilers, trying to get it out of the zone. Nice play by Janmark to get it over to Emerson. Emerson rolling up again. He's activated so far a couple times tonight. The pass to the blue line for Kulak just couldn't hold on. 14:21 to go here in this second period. Shots fired in. Near side it comes for Brody as Janmark tried to stick lift him and create a little bit of chaos inside the Hawks zone. Henrique can't keep that puck in. It goes into the bench. Fired off a Chicago stick. We'll have a stoppage and play with 14:10 to go here in this second period of play, friends. This game's starting to get a little sleepy again for the Hawks and Oilers. So we are waiting for the Oilers, now down 2-1, to do something that actually resembles goal scoring against a Hawks team that really hasn't been known for their great defending this year. The Oilers yet to go to the power play as well, so stay tuned if the Oilers can draw a penalty. But again, they'd have to actually go out there and move the bodies around a little bit to draw a power play. This one's back to the blue line, picked up by Bouchard. Around behind the net it comes, near side now. Ekholm battling for this puck, can't get it going in a positive direction. Puck's fired around again, and here's the Hawks. Out to center ice, Bouchard quickly jumps on that puck, gets it right on the tape of Nugent Hopkins. Picking it up, Ekholm fires off the boards, trying to get McDavid started, can't do it. As the Hawks just tap it back inside the Oilers zone for an icing call here in this second period play. Friends, just let me step aside a brief moment. Alright, January 18th, the Oilers play Canucks, the nightcap, 7 p.m. out there. As the Oilers waiting to get back to action here in this second period play. McDavid out there directing traffic alongside Draisaitl and Hyman. The Oilers are going to choose to load up on this icing call, get the fresh legs in Draisaitl, get McDavid and Hyman to support him here. As we'll see what we do off this face-off draw. Puck is picked up there by the Hawks. Down, Vlasic goes around on the far side. It escapes the Hawks player on the far side boards. That allows the Oilers to keep the puck alive. Hyman wins the battle. He'll fire it down low near side. Draisaitl's going to try and keep this one alive. It tips out in the neutral zone, however, and this will allow the Hawks to escape their zone. 13:27 to go. The puck tips up off a stick, and then Draisaitl able to steal it away with some good stick work in the middle of the ice, as this will be the Hawks now trying again to escape their zone. The Oilers keeping them hemmed kind of in the other half of the ice so far, as they haven't been able to get across the Oilers line in any of this sequence. Picked up by the Hawks back into the neutral zone, and now they're across the line. Rather perfect play to get onside. Backhanded down low. Donato shot fired. Save made by Pickard. He'll play it off. No whistle there. The Oilers desperate to keep this puck going and keep play moving here. And hopefully get maybe a rush chance here. The Hawks, though, quickly swallow up on the Oilers. Puck comes back to the middle of the ice. And the Hawks are able to get across the Oilers line. And then again, look to drag this one across. 12:40 to go here in this second period of play. Shot fired in there by Chicago, as this will be worked there by the Oilers right in front of their own net. Bouchard's been out on the ice for a minute 40 already, as the Oilers across now trying to get it on, and they are offside on the pass over to Corey Perry, so we'll have a stoppage and play with 12:23 to go here. And I did not realize I was going to be this tired on stream today, friends. My apologies, but the Oilers so far a sleeper of a game thus far, and maybe a better result here in a little bit, but yeah, not so much of a good start thus far for the Oilers. As again, friends, if you are new to the channel, I encourage you to consider hitting that subscribe button here on the channel. Just hang out, come back for more Oilers content, I'll tell you that. So we'll go here as well. We're waiting for this Oilers team to get rolling, but right now it's not quite doing much of anything here in this period thus far, other than scoring the early goal. The Oilers definitely needed that early goal to at least get back to an even footing where you're only down a goal and now you're not chasing too far the rest of the way home. But you got to also try and keep it rolling and not give up a goal while you're doing it. So, Oilers, well, this is where we're waiting. All right. We are almost halfway through the game, friends, and not much has really happened here for the Oilers thus far. As looks like they've got Mario Kart 64 during intermission at the Chicago United Center tonight. Okay, there you have it. Do anything else we need to see? I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think we've seen anything else out of the Oilers other than that goal from Podkolzin, and that goal from Podkolzin, that was a huge one right there to score that goal. So, so far a rough 2024 for Chicago, a combined winning percentage of .378, and it was the Chicago Cubs that were the best team this year. So, there you have it. All right, face-off. At center ice here, Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, the Oilers' best line in the hockey game. Back on the ice as Bertuzzi fires it down low. Picked up now by the Oilers, battling it off the boards there. Missed the playoffs last 4 seasons. Have the Chicago Blackhawks one playoff appearance since 2017, that being the year they beat the Oilers in the bubble. This one shot towards the net, goes wide. And this one comes back down low for Draisaitl now, picked up by Martinez. Battling there, Podkolzin goes down along the boards, looking for Draisaitl. Draisaitl over to Arvidsson, tied up the puck. Now alongside Seth Jones, Arvidsson comes away with it. Arvidsson coming out of the corner, far side look for Draisaitl to try and hammer home the short angle one-timer. Couldn't do it. Now here's Arvidsson through traffic, fires the shot, blocked there, bounced onto the stick of Nurse. The Oilers' best line continues to produce results here tonight. Here's Draisaitl down low to Nurse in the corner, right in front. Podkolzin just kind of whiffs on it and almost taps it home nonetheless. This puck comes around to the near side, Draisaitl to the far side. Now that puck goes up and out of play with 11:18 to go here in this second period play. What a bunch of run there for the Oilers' second line. Kapanen looking absolutely crazy there with the mustache, goatee, and the big hair. Love to see it as he's definitely enjoying time in Edmonton as this one. Arvidsson battling and just about had the pass over. And what a pass it would have been if he could have gotten that cleanly over to Draisaitl, but Draisaitl just has it bounce on him last second and unfortunately can't capitalize on that puck. So here's McDavid back to the blue line, loading up the one-timer for Ekholm, and that was a heck of a jump there by Ekholm. Just couldn't hit it on net as this Foligno now battling against Ekholm. In behind the net it goes to Dickinson, battling along the far side wall, picked up by McDavid in flight over to Hyman. Hyman now along the right wing, trying to get it down low, and again the Oilers have definitely had the better of the possession time, but again in terms of substance inside the zone, haven't really done much here as there's a high stick on the play as Hyman's trying to bait the Hawks into playing it. There's no high stick following that, and now here's an opportunity for the Oilers right on tape for Ekholm. He backhands in front, scrambling the crease, and relatively quickly covered up by Arvid Soderblom. So the Oilers still trying to get things going here as the McDavid line really not looking all that crazy out there. And this one ultimately was Hyman just tying up that puck. Now we wait to see what the Oilers can do on an offensive zone possession here, as that was a good looking opportunity for the Oilers. They just couldn't jam that puck loose to the near side post where both players, Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, would have had a whack at it. It's 10:36 to go here in this second period play. Henrique in the face-off dot as the third line tries to follow up the top line's effort. This one comes picked up by Connor Brown. Shot fired, blocked there by Soderblom again. This one wheeling and dealing around the zone. Janmark down behind the net now for Brown. Brown tries to tap this one in front. And back to the blue line it goes, out of the zone, picked up by Kulak, as this will be Henrique now picking it up and leaving it there for Brown. Brown trying to leave it there for one Brett Kulak, couldn't do it. Donato loads up the shot, blocked in front. This will be played around to the far side as both teams tie up again, as this will be a pass there for Hall over to the far side. Shot there by Donato, scores 3-1 Chicago. And friends, to be honest with you, in terms of engagement here, in terms of how engaged I am in the live stream, not really at all. This has been brutal from the Oilers so far, and when a shot like that's going in, you just know it's not a good night to be an Oilers fan. As that one again, that was just a tough turnover by Brown and Emberson, and then really, I don't know what's going on there. Pickard's swimming around, and it is 3-1 for Chicago. Friends, you know what? I'm still hungry, and the Oilers really don't feel like playing hockey. I'm gonna tune out. I'm struggling here. The voice is killing me tonight as well. So maybe as usual, when I don't watch the Oilers, they win hockey games. So y'all have yourself a great night. I'm gonna go finish off dinner, and we'll talk to you here in a bit.